3 cinematographers. 1 scene. Infinite possibilities. Today at CinePacks, we're exploring how creativity shapes perspective in the ultimate lighting challenge.
I really wanted it to feel like there was daylight coming in here.
I wanted to create more depth and direct the eye to the hero prop.
I could probably push this light somewhere, kind of silhouette someone in it.
Let's get into it?
Let's get into it.
Hey, I'm Shelby Lee, and I'm here with Evan Weidenkeller.
I'm Evan Weidenkeller. I'm a local cinematographer, studied at AFI. I mostly shoot feature films and short films.
Hi, I'm Bryant. I am a director and DP, and I've worked on projects like Kodama and a whole host of other VFX heavy type stuff.
Hey, I'm Natalia. I'm a cinematographer here based in LA. I shoot music videos, commercials, and narrative work. I love anything moody, keeping the shadows real and organic pieces.
So we've invited some of our favorite cinematographers to come light this space in their own style. We're here at CinePacks, and we are at the 90s tech room. We have a challenge for you today. So you get 2 shots. The only limitations is that for the first shot, we're going to choose the camera angle and the focal length. And in the second shot, you can do whatever you want.
Love it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, my hands are tied, but I'll make it work. It's gonna be fun.
Walking into this space, what are you thinking? Where's your head at?
It is a little bit of a confined space, which adds to the challenge. It looks like a workshop, so it should be pretty easy to kind of get into the vibe.
We have 1 light source, and it's overhead, and that already gives moody. I feel like I could probably push this light somewhere, kind of silhouette someone in it. The walls are blue and not white, so that's great. Yeah, I think we can do a lot here.
So the story here is a woman connects the missing piece of a radio to make contact with the outside world during the apocalypse.
All right, well, no, that's good. That informs a lot. I'm gonna brainstorm for a second and figure out how I'm gonna light this room.
As you were working in this space, were you drawing on any inspiration, or did the space itself lend to that?
I think the space itself lent to it. I really wanted it to feel like there was daylight coming in here. We ended up going with our key light as the 1200D with CTS in front of it, a full stop of CTS to kind of warm it up. We used a 300D as well with CTS in front of it to kind of extend our sunlight across different parts of the set. Then we ended up using a Fini bar overhead to kind of key in our kind of work light.
We saw this cool mirror behind you. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, it's a CRLS. The idea here is, since we don't have a lot of space, is to try and make it feel like our key light is further away. So by shining our light into a mirror, basically, it extends the distance in which the light kind of travels to get into our set. And we used an MC for our light gag.
What did you change for the second setup?
For the second setup, I mostly just kind of extended our work light to kind of wrap around. So we put in another Infinity bar overhead and shaped it so it felt like our work light was extended kind of over and wrapping your face. Then we kind of moved over our MC and kind of diffused it a bit more just to make it feel more natural when it would turn on in front of your face.
All right, thanks to our friends at On The Mark. We have lots of lens and camera options. Which one did you go with?
I went with the Cooke S4s for the Alexa Mini. Cookes are some of my favorite, just because they're the most invisible. You don't need a whole lot with them. They look great right out of the can. It's a good, safe choice for this camera.
And I noticed your monitor had some extra colors.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you were working with there?
This thing is called the EL zone, the Ed Lockman zone. That's built into a lot of small HD monitors where it kind of gauges exposure based off spot meter readings. It's very easy for me to look at a monitor with the EL zone on it and know exactly where my exposures lie, because it's something I'm used to.
How are we feeling with the shot with limitations?
I feel pretty good. We're able to kind of bring in some sunlight into this space and make it feel lived in, and I'm very happy with it.
So there was a lot to consider for the first shot. I just took a look around and I saw that the walls were very blue, felt very kind of cyan. Also was all the technology and the different 80s tech that was kind of giving me a lot of cues into that Blade Runner feel. We had, obviously, the constraint that the camera couldn't move from its initial standpoint, so I felt like that framing lacked a little bit of depth, so I wanted to create more depth and direct the eye to the hero prop, which was this right here. The way I decided to do that was to bring a shelf in and create foreground elements that were out of focus that kind of drew attention away from parts of the frame that I didn't want you to be looking at, and created a little bit of a cavity where you could look right through the gate and see what we're supposed to be looking at.
And what tools were you using on the camera side?
For this particular instance, I was using a Arri Alexa. I also used the Atlas Orion Anamorphics because I think I was going for a bit of like a Blade Runner aesthetic. Chromatic aberrations that you see and how wide it is was something that really harkened back to the Blade Runner aesthetic that I was going for. For lighting, I started with the Aperture 1200D beaming from outside the room, creating a bit of sunlight to break up the corners of the frame. We also used a tungsten practical to add warmth to the scene while separating the protagonist from the background. In the background, we also turned on a few TVs to add some accent lighting behind the protagonist. On top of that, we placed a B7C on the right side of the frame as an accent light, while an MC Pro was attached to the hero prop as a lighting gag to illuminate her face. I added a little bit of ambience into the room by throwing some light into the ceiling with the 300X with a spotlight attachment to kind of narrow it so that it didn't spill everywhere.
Can you guide us through what you did for the second shot?
Yeah, so the second shot, I threw up a Dana Dolly and we had the camera travel parallel to the leading lines of the room and the desk, and I used a MT Pro. It was to further wrap the light around her face so that we could see her eyes a little bit better. Yeah, that was basically it. We hazed it up and it looked really nice.
All right, so we got this wide from the corner here. I'm thinking in Cinebar, stuck up there, we can control the pixels so that we can make maybe get a little green tint out of it. Talent's gonna be here, I believe. She's gonna walk in, sit, and do something here. We can have something flicker here on shadow side, haze it up, one light wonder.
Inspirations-wise, was there any cinematographers or movies that inspired you for the scene?
Yeah, I think any Fincher movie, he has a lot of greens in his movies. My eye always gravitates to his particular green. I know it's like a warmer green. So I want to apply that kind of color into this. And then we hit an Amaran F22 over here for some fill. We'll probably see some little orange reflections throughout anything that's shining here. There's a lot of metals. I love a good, green-orange mix, so that was a nice little touch. We also hit an MC right here in this little feature machine, so when our character turns it on, it's the blue that matches the rest of these TVs that are on, just to give a little bit more, depth in the room and just keeping it moody.
So Natalia, can you walk us through the camera and lenses you're choosing today?
Yeah, so today on the Mark hooked it up with the Arri Alexa Mini. They also hooked us up with the Zeiss Super Speed Mark IIIs. Filters, we have a black satin one and a Rotopolo.
Do you feel good? Do you feel like you're going to get a decent composition in the room?
I think we'll get something going, yeah. It's a small room, but I think we've accommodated with all the tools we need for the scene.
All right, let's get back in there.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Tech room, scene one, take one. I think we're good enough then, yeah?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap! Evan, you killed it. How do you think it went?
I think it went very smoothly. We were on time. We were able to light it like champions, and we did a great job.
Well, thank you for your time and your talent. You killed it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.
Well, thank you so much again for your time and talent and being here. Shout out to CinePacks for hosting our space, On the Mark for hosting our gear, and Aperture for lighting. We'll see you guys on the next one.